We are going to talk about a movie.
This is gonna be a disaster.
It was one of the best movies of the year.
It's gonna go so well. Probably one of the last movies I would ever want to see in a theater. What is going on, everybody? Taylor here, and today I'm going to be talking about the live-action adaptation of Aladdin. I just got out of a screening to see the movie, and I have a lot of thoughts. I would like to start off by saying that if you've seen any of my trailer reactions in regards to this movie, I'm so happy that this movie just had really terrible marketing for some reason. I have no idea how a movie that I had so much fun with and had so much magic and such a great cast and so many other awesome things about it had such horrific marketing, because if you've seen my reactions, you know that I really wasn't a fan of the teaser or the trailers. There was one trailer that kind of started to make me feel a little bit better about the direction of the movie, but it definitely does it an injustice for what the movie actually is, because it is absolutely worth watching in my opinion. So first of all, I would like to say that Naomi Scott and Mena Massoud, I think is how it's said, Mena Massoud, I believe. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Those two in the main roles as Aladdin and Jasmine, they do such a fantastic job. They really bring these characters to life in a way that brings them central to the story, which I know is a little bit of a strange thing to say, but in the original animated movie, the genie takes up so much of the space in a fantastic way. But in this movie, I feel like we really get to see a lot more of Aladdin and Jasmine individually and in scenes together, and we really get to explore a lot of their chemistry, and they have great chemistry together. You can tell that the actors got along very well, and they're very talented, extremely talented. Naomi Scott has a fantastic singing voice, and I think she does such a great justice to the songs, and so does he. They both do really, really well. They bring these songs to life. They bring the old songs that you know and love to life in new ways. There are some new songs in there as well that I really, really enjoyed, and it's just it's very nostalgic, but in a way that isn't tired. It has new elements, it feels like you're in this world, and I really, really appreciated the feeling of living in this world, because I know that when there was marketing that came out, whether it was trailers or photos from on set or whatever it was, there were a lot of complaints about everything kind of looking fake, that the costuming looked cheap and like they spent $5 on it and got it from a secondhand store or whatever. I think it translates really well to the movie itself. I think that all of Princess Jasmine's wardrobe is absolutely fabulous. She has so many dresses that she wears in this movie, and I want all of them. I think that the looks that they chose for Aladdin work really well. They use color really, really wonderfully in this movie, whether it comes to costuming or the colors of the city that really bring it to life. I think they're used really well and really do a service to the movie. It's used in a way that doesn't make it feel fake, because obviously this is a fantastical place with genies and sorcerers and things of that nature, but it still feels like it's a place that could be lived in. It feels like a place where there are still things that we could recognize and connect to, which I think is really important. So I really liked the world. I do want to say that if you watched the footage that was released of a particular song that happens in the movie, it works so much better in the actual context of the movie, and once again, that is down to really, really awful marketing choices. So just give it a chance, and I think that you'll like it. On that note, I do want to talk about Will Smith. I think that he does a really, really good job of bringing a new genie to life, because from the second that they cast him, there was so much conversation around how do you do this role and not have it be Robin Williams? How do you do this role and create something that stands on its own? Do you do something completely different? Do you try to recreate what Robin Williams did? And it just became this huge monumental task for him to take on. And no matter who was cast, it was going to be an impossible task, essentially, because you can't please everyone, especially with something like that. But I think for the most part, it worked really well. The humor that he injects into it lands really well most of the time. It did for me, at least. I think that he, no pun intended, but he brings a fresh brings a fresh take to this character where you believe that he's the genie. And if you're able to separate yourself from the animated version and just watch it as a role that he's taking on, he's great in it. There were a couple of moments that fell a little flat for me in terms of some of the music choices that were made with him. I think that it was because he's not really a singer, at least not that I've heard. And so there were a couple moments where I feel like when the music he was singing should have felt a little more animated. It fell a little bit flat, but just little nitpicky things like that sometimes didn't work for me. Otherwise, I really, really enjoyed the chemistry that he had with Aladdin in this movie. Their friendship felt really, really important and really held a lot of emotional weight, in my opinion. So that was something I really appreciated a lot. Something else that I really enjoyed about this movie was Jasmine. I think she was handled very well as a character. There were a lot of moments when I felt like I was more emotionally connected to this version of Jasmine, and I don't know if that's just because it is a live action adaptation and it might be easier for me to connect with Naomi Scott in that way, but she has some new music that she sings in the movie that are really powerful in terms of what she is trying to achieve personally. She is very much in a position where she's supposed to be seen and not heard, and she's told this over and over and over again. She isn't taken seriously by her father, and Jafar is constantly telling her that she needs to not talk, she just needs to be seen, and she's basically there to be pretty or whatever else. And there's some really powerful moments where we really get to see her kind of take her life into her own hands and decide that she's not going to do that, no matter what the consequences actually are. That she knows what the rules are, that she's never supposed to be a ruler, and she's supposed to know what her place is, and all of that stuff. And she actively makes a choice to defy that. And it was just really powerful to see. And I know that there is that theme as well in the animated version, but in this one it's different because although the scene still happens, or the idea still happens, where Jafar wants to marry her and tries to marry her, it's very different because it feels like she's very much in control of what she's doing in this movie versus the animated version. She obviously doesn't want to go through with this. This isn't the life she wants, but she's more in control of her decisions, and I think it stands out a little bit more in this version, which I think is really important, especially for a Disney princess, for someone that little girls and little boys and people of all ages are gonna look at and be inspired by and be affected by. So I really enjoyed that. There's some pretty cool action sequences in the movie. There's a really fun dancing scene that I enjoyed a lot. There's a lot of character in this movie. There's just a lot of really fun moments and magical moments, and I think that it all really works well together. It feels like it gels well as a movie. The pacing is a little bit quicker at the beginning of the movie, but that didn't necessarily bother me. I didn't feel like it felt rushed or anything like that. And for the most part, it was pretty much what I expected it was going to be. It was a lot of fun. It reminded me of the animated version in a lot of ways. We get a lot of the music that we recognize, but with new little spins on it, which is a lot of fun. And I would absolutely recommend going to see it. I don't think that it's anything revolutionary. It's not a complete overhaul where it's a completely new story or anything like that, but it does have its own unique little elements that make it worth it. And there aren't too many negatives that I can really say about it, other than, like I said, little nitpicks here and there of maybe this little section of music didn't work for me, or maybe this little piece kind of fell flat. But overall, I can't really say I had any major complaints. There were some moments where the CGI for Genie was a little wonky. There are some parts at the beginning of the movie where during some musical sequences it seems like time speeds up and slows down in awkward places, but just little things here and there like that could have been improved. But overall, for a movie that I was absolutely terrified to go see and thought was going to break my heart, I had so much fun with. So what did you guys think? Please leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. As always, all my links are down in the description if you want to find me on social media or if you want to donate to my Patreon. Thank you guys so much for all of your continued support, and I will see you all next time.